Nikki, great to see you. Thanks for taking a bit of time out to come and have a chat with us. Always appreciate that because I know you're busy. Your business is trying to completely disrupt the way people travel in Japan or when they go to Japan. I mean, why do you want to disrupt the travel market? And in what way is your proposition different to what's out there?
Well, in 2013, I started my business Tokyo Tours, and I've been offering private guided tours throughout Japan with local tour guides. And I've done the tours myself as well. That's how I got started. And what I noticed from the people who were traveling individually, and then the travel agent had booked maybe one or two tours with us, is that they were really struggling because they generally don't do a lot of research. And then suddenly they're in Japan and they don't really know what to do or where to go or how long things take. Oh yeah, yeah. Next stop is Kyoto, but I don't even know what time should I take the train? How long does it take?
Let
From
me
what
ask you.
station? Which
Let me
platform?
let me ask you about that. I mean, if I was going to go to Spain,
Mhm.
I'd book a flight, turn up in Spain, and figure it out when I got there. I mean, why can't you do that?
Well, because usually people don't go for a weekend or a week, so they'll come for like 2 or 3 weeks,
Right.
even. So they'll start in Tokyo or they'll start in Osaka and then they'll travel to multiple destinations. So either they need help with someone just taking them by the hand and just showing them where to go, or they need to figure it out all by themselves. And for many people, that can be a very daunting proposition.
Yeah. And is it daunting because of the culture of Japan? I mean, what makes it daunting? Because it's not daunting if you go to Spain. What's the difference?
For instance, if you go to Shinjuku Station, there's like 5 different floors and 90 different exits, almost 100. And once you're inside, Google Maps doesn't know where you are because the dot is like this big, and
Right.
Google
Okay.
Map will be like, "Good luck, you take care of yourself. Don't ask me." So yeah, it's just pinging off all those high buildings. So if you don't know where to go and you don't know your way, um, then it can be quite difficult to find the right platform because there's so many entrances and there's different operators that work from Shinjuku Station, for instance, and they all have their own entrance and it's not connected. So you need to get in the correct way because if you take the wrong way, you will not be able to get out from there. You first need to get out completely and then go around and then go
And when
another way.
did you first realize that this was a problem for travelers to Japan? I mean, I'd not heard that it was that difficult to travel in Japan. I mean, when did you first realize this was going to be difficult?
Well, as soon as we were offering the meet and assist at the airport via Tokyo Tours, so a lot of travel agents book this service for their clients. And what we do is a guide will come to the airport and will take the clients to the JR East office where they can exchange their rail voucher because usually people travel via rail voucher. But their impression is, oh, I have the rail voucher, so that means I can just travel via train in Japan, which is a misconception. Yes, you can travel via train in Japan, but you still need to reserve the seats.
Mm.
Because if all the seats are booked, then perhaps you won't be able to take the train
Right.
at the time that you want to take the train, or you won't be able to sit together.
So what you're really saying is that it's
So,
difficult for
what
people to
we
understand the
do
culture.
is we help. Sure, and it's also like you need to know that you need to book these tickets, and then when we were helping them with the tickets, we were asking them like, what time would you like to leave in the morning from Tokyo. And then they would be, I have no idea. Do I want to stay longer in Tokyo or do I want to have a full day in Kyoto, for instance? Um, and like I said, there's multiple operators. So the Japan Rail Pass cannot be used for everything. So some areas have their own operator and you need a different ticket. So all of these things were quite confusing for our clients. And then I thought, well, there should be a easier solution where you're not stuffed in a coach for 2 weeks and have no freedom at all. Or on the other hand, you're left to your own devices to figure out how to have an enjoyable trip in Japan.
Sure, sure. And you're also trying to sort of automate a lot of this, aren't you? I mean, so I get your point about Japan
Correct.
not being an easy place to travel around if you don't know your way around. I mean, I get that. I can see that. I mean, I've never been to Japan, but
Yeah.
I understand that. But you're also trying to change the way the kind of processes work for organizing the holidays, aren't you? I mean, just talk us through what you're trying to do there.
Yes, so the entire customer journey is going to be automized. So from the moment the client books the trip, a profile is created for them, and they can log in on their dashboard and see all the relevant information. And as soon as they've booked a trip, then automatically there's a signal going to all the necessary providers. The hotels will be booked automatically based on certain criteria. Um, and also the client will receive regular updates like, okay, your trip is planned on this date. Have you considered checking whether you need a visa? Uh, Here you can check whether visa is a requirement or not. Now it's like 2 weeks before your trip. So we advise you to pack these things, take into consideration what medication you can bring to Japan or cannot bring to Japan, or you need medical proof or something like that. So just give them lots of tips so they can prepare for their trip to Japan and know what to expect. And then when they're in Japan, we have a 24/7 concierge service. So if they want to change anything about their itinerary or they want to book additional services, then that is an option. And also to kind of help them navigate Tokyo, like if they want to buy certain souvenirs, like where can I buy these things, or I want to eat the best ramen in Tokyo, where should I go? So the concierge service, that's an actual person, not it's not automated. They will reply to the client and help them with any queries they have.
Sure. And when was it that you realized this was a really important problem to solve? I mean, have you been working in Japan for a long time? I mean, how did you realize that this was an issue that needed tackling and that there was a market for people that wanted to get this sort of, wanted to.
Well, I started Tokyo Tours back in 2013, and then I think it was around, yeah, maybe after the pandemic, I would say. So around 2022, when we started to also offer the meet and assist service, and then when we were helping the clients to exchange the rail vouchers. And also doing multiple tours with them throughout Japan, we had a clearer insight into what are the pain points, what are the clients struggling with, what would they ideally require more help with. And that's how the idea to start Elite Travel Experiences was first conceived.
Okay. And how do you, I mean, tell me how you feel about, I mean, I know you're in the process of building that business. I mean, you're working with clients from
Mhm.
all over the place that want to go to it. It's a very popular destination, isn't it? I
Correct.
mean, how do you feel about the process of building that business? I mean, what is it that excites you about it?
Well, what excites me is that I have uh, a very clear idea of what I want and how I want the company to be like, and even the branding and the values that we want to convey. So I'm very excited to slowly see that being realized. On the other hand, I also thought it would take less time, but building something this big from scratch has been quite daunting. So it's taking a lot longer than I had anticipated. So that's definitely something I need to work on because patience is not my greatest virtue. But yeah, I'm very excited about the whole process. And the website is now at a level where we're about to go live with the payment platform. So as soon as that is realized, we can start receiving clients, which is very exciting.
And I mean, I know from talking to other CEOs that, building a business, I mean, daunting is a good word. You just described it as daunting. I
Mhm.
mean, it's a bit of a roller coaster. I mean, there's good days, there's bad days. I mean, what is it about this particular proposition that kind of motivates you to kind of jump out of bed every day and keep plugging away at trying to build it? I mean, what's behind that for you?
Well, I love that it's such an innovative concept and that it uses AI in ways that no one is using um, in the travel business right now. So it's going to be very innovative, both in our proposition and our unique selling points, and in addition, also all the automations and uh, the way we are able to guide the client through their customer journey, and be much more on top of things. Because normally, if you would book a trip with a regular travel agent, you book the trip, they'll give you the confirmation of what's included, they'll give you your hotels and all of that. And maybe you'll have an app with some information like, okay, this is the schedule that you're supposed to take. Or oftentimes it's just a printout, it's not even an app. And it's not interactive at all. So if the client has any questions, they need to email or call the travel agents to get an update. So it's quite cumbersome, whereas our system is much faster and much more interactive and much more geared to obtain a very high level of customer satisfaction.
Mm. And in terms of the process of building, I mean, as we've just talked about, I mean, it's a pretty daunting process. I mean, quite often in those situations, you run up against red lights where you have to stop and have a bit of a think. You've got some kind of big problem to overcome. I mean, those happen a lot to entrepreneurs that come up
Yes.
against problems. I mean, how do you respond to that? I mean, what is it about your psychology that enables you to kind of overcome those problems, to turn those things to your advantage?
Well, I never want to think in problems. I only want to think in solutions. So the people who work for me, it's a little bit like Steve Jobs used to say. So he was similar in that regards. Um, he didn't want to hear how I can't do it or what are the obstacles or what's not working. I want you to give me ideas on how we can overcome this and how we can get to the next stage. So if it's not available, then make it yourself, because no is not an option.
Sure. And you mentioned your team. I mean, how do you, I mean, getting, I mean, to build anything, I mean, and yours is quite a big project. I mean, to build anything, you need to get good people on board. I mean, what's your approach to getting the right people on the bus? Do you have a particular view about how to do that and the sorts of people that you're looking for?
Yeah, well, it depends for what role. Oftentimes people are referred to me via my network because I've been working in this industry for a very long time. And I quite value the insights that uh, other people that work in the industry have. So if they have someone they can recommend, then I'm always very open for that. Yeah, and I go to a lot of industry events. I was just at the World Luxury Travel Gala. So yeah, then you get to talking to people, and yeah, I just hired a new head of sales for the European market for elite travel experiences. And yeah, basically, we met at the gala and we had a discussion of like, what do I want to achieve? What do I have to offer? And what would be the KPIs for the guy I've just hired? And yeah, it was a match. So we had a few meetings after that just to put the dots on the I and to cross the T's. But basically, next week we have our final meeting, and then we can sign the contracts, and
And
he
what
can
sort of
be.
people do you look for? You
What sort
talk
of people?
about
Yeah, so like I said, I want people who don't give me no, who will be, I will find a solution. I also don't want excuses. I don't want to hear sorry. It's for my guys as well. I always train them to never say sorry, because I feel if you say sorry, it implies that you did something wrong. And I don't want to focus on what went wrong. I want to focus on what are we going to do next? How are we going to solve this problem? How are we going to make it better? And I'm always very open to other people. I always ask them like, what would you do in my shoes? Do you have any good ideas? What would you recommend? Um, and I feel that as a leader, it's more important to listen than to speak. So if you're hiring new people, let them come with the ideas and let them show you things you might not even have thought about, rather than you telling them or directing people like, this is what I want you to do. You're going to do this list, and this is the result I expect.
sure. And let me ask you, we talked a little bit about your team.
Mhm.
Talk about your customers for a second. What does a good customer look like to you?
A good customer is someone who knows what to expect, and who want what we have to offer. So someone who wants the freedom to explore on their own, but still have the luxury of knowing what to expect and where to go during the day, but they don't need to be held by the hand all throughout the day. So what we do, our drivers pick them up. The client will know the itinerary. We will ask them in advance if they have any requests for what to eat for lunch or for dinner. So we can adjust the itinerary accordingly. And then when we make the stops at each location, they'll have a allotted amount of time so they can explore on their own, rather than a guide tugging at them, telling them what to do, where to buy things, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, our clients would have to need to have a certain level of independence and not required to have a babysitter with them 24/7.
Sure. So, what you're saying to me is that it's really about the match between the kind of client that wants a little bit of autonomy and the way
Mhm.
you put together the packaging, which is quite an intimate thing in that sense. You've got to know your customers quite well. How do
Mhm.
you, given that you've got to know them well, but you've got people all over the place.
Yes.
How do you go about building ongoing relationships with customers in that setting? What's your feelings about that? Because it seems to me that's a really important component.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have a very strong social media presence, and we have a lot of reviews on Google. So we have 5.0 uh, what do you call it?
On the reviews.
Yeah, on the reviews. So we a score, that's the word, sorry. A 5.0 score, which is quite exceptional. There's not many companies that have a perfect 5.0 score. Of course, that's with our sister company, Tokyo Tours, but at least our clients have some idea of what to expect, how we treat our other clients, how happy they are with what we have to offer or not. And so far, we've only had very happy clients that recommend us to their friends and love to come back and do another tour or another trip in Japan with us. So that's been quite rewarding.
Mm. And in terms of your business, I mean, just to come back to the staff, I mean, what you've described is a kind of a very high touch, high quality customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's notoriously difficult to achieve that and then to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Often, as businesses grow, customer service is one of the things that falls over quickest. I mean, how are you, and I know you're growing, I mean, how do you plan to make sure that that continues to be at the heart of what you do? I mean, because that's not an easy, it's not an easy thing to achieve.
Yeah, exactly. That is one of the reasons why I started Elite Travel Experiences because right now with Tokyo Tours, everything is done manually. So my head of operations is unable to have any more work right now because we average around 500 tours a month. So for her, physically and mentally, she cannot
Yeah.
do any more than that. Um, that is one of the reasons why I started Elite, because with Elite, we want to streamline the process and take out all of the unnecessary work. So anything that can be done by a machine will be done by a machine. And of course, we will make a lot of rules. So the machine knows what to do, when to do it, and what type of message to send. Because my head of operations is quite hesitant about AI and automation. So she feels that if she's no longer in control and no longer has a grip on things, then everything will fall apart. So that's why I want to show her, like, okay, this is what we're doing with Elite. These are the lessons we've learned. These are all the bugs we've taken out. And how can we apply that to Tokyo Tours so we can make life easier for you and it would be easier to grow and handle more business with Tokyo Tours as well if we take out all the repetitive tasks.
Yeah. Okay. So you're talking about making it easier for your people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And in terms of um, that process, I mean, how difficult has it been? Because you've got an existing business and you're setting up another business that's going to be heavily reliant on AI. That's what you're saying, isn't
Mhm.
it? I mean,
Yes.
how difficult has it been to develop a business separately to what you're doing currently that is almost exclusively based around AI? I mean, that's a very different kind of
Yes.
approach. I mean, tell us
Correct.
about that experience and how difficult has that been and what's worked and perhaps what hasn't worked on that front.
Well, the good thing is that I have more than 12 years of experience in this line of work. So any type of situation that you can encounter, I've already encountered in one way, shape, or form. So I know what the pitfalls are. I know what can go wrong. I know what can go right. And basically, it means you just have to write down every situation from start to finish, and these different scenarios, you can check if A happens, what will be B, and if B happens, what will be C. So you just need to simplify it and get to a yes or no answer. For instance, right now, what we do with last minute requests for tour guides, um, my head of operations just puts text message in a group chat with all the details. Like, okay, this is the date, this is the time, this is the tour, this is how much you're going to get paid. These are things to take into consideration. The first one who says yes will get the job. Um, but these things, it's very easy to automate. So as soon as the request comes in, we can already send that message to the group. And if it's either yes or no. So if it's yes, then the next action can be applied. Like, okay, so the guide will need all the information, the client will need all the information from the guide, and then you can go to the next step. So it's just visualizing what are all the individual steps in the process, and then basically um, translate that in a language that computers can understand.
Sure. I mean, that sounds like a lot of work actually to get
Mhm.
done. And you've got, I mean, I can't remember how many you said now, but you've got a lot of tour guides, haven't you? I mean, it's not just you, there's a lot of people that you contract with to run the business.
75, yeah.
Tell me about managing those kind of teams where you're contracting rather than employing directly, where they're remote, because you're not always based in Japan, are you? I mean, aren't you based in Amsterdam at the moment?
Ah, yes, correct. Well, basically, my head of operations manages all of that, all the planning. So for the onboarding process, I generally do the first interview, and if I think they are suitable, then I will uh, throw them over the hedge to my head of operations to handle the rest of the onboarding process. And the next phase would be to schedule training sessions to make sure that the guide is up to the level that we are expecting from them. And after that has been finished, they'll sign the contract, and yeah, we're off to a flying start. And especially in Tokyo, because my head of operations is based there, we also try to help the individual guides to kind of have a feel for the job, because everyone is an individual and they basically are all freelancers. So we organize a lot of events like mixers and days out and nights drinking, so they can actually meet their other colleagues and have more of a personal connection with them and also with us as Tokyo Tours, because obviously, since they're all independent contractors, we don't get to see them that often. So we put in a lot of time and effort to,
And it sounds like you're building a community as much of it
yes,
as a staff network.
yeah.
Yeah. And what about, I know that people want to go to Japan from all over the world. I mean, people from America, people from the UK, people from the Netherlands. I mean, how do you deal with, let's say you've got people coming in from the US and you've got people coming in from Amsterdam, Dutch people. I mean, there are quite, well, my impression is that those customers have different expectations. I mean, how do you manage things like that?
Well, of course, the customer journey is very important. So from the moment they book the trip until they actually on uh, go on the flight, get the flight and go to Japan, we need to inform them adequately and in bite-sized portions, so they have a clear understanding of what the trip is going to be like. Um, and yeah, of course, it's very important that if you book a group trip, that you put the right people together. So for us, customer satisfaction is most important, more important than profit margin. So we rather have people experience a private trip than to put people together where we think they might not match well. So, of course, we look at age ranges and language ability, and we try to combine clients that will work well together. Actually, there's one travel agency where we already do that. So they pay a lower rate, and then we make a combined group. So when we have the tour, we will tell them, okay, you need to come to this location. This is where where you meet the guide, and there's usually up to 10 people in one group. And we get the information from the travel agent, like what is the age range, what is their background. And with that information, we can make a more informed decision what groups would work well together and to make sure they'll have an enjoyable day.
Sure. And I mean, it sounds like you've been on a really interesting journey. I mean, it's quite a complex business that you're building. And I know people's expectations when they go traveling, when they go on holiday, are pretty high. I mean, nobody wants to have a lousy holiday because something's got.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, so it sounds like there's a lot of stress involved. I mean, is that, have I understood that? I mean, do you get very stressed out by all this? I mean, is there a lot of anxiety, worrying about whether things will go wrong? I mean, how do you feel about being the CEO? Because the buck stops with you, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you're only as good as your last clients. So customer satisfaction is super important for us. So all our employees, we just drill it into them like, okay, this is what we expect you to do. And also how you deal with complaints. So if we get a complaint from a client, first of all, we'll tell them that we are very sorry that they have had this experience and we take it very seriously. And we will investigate first and look into it and then come back with a solution. So we always like to look at things from both perspectives because, for instance, with the guided tours, you often have a few key players that you need to take into account. So there's the travel agent, there's the client themselves, and then there's the tour guide. So these shareholders you need to take into, of stakeholders you need to take into consideration. And only after we've talked to everyone, we will give them our decision. So sometimes we will give a partial refund, or sometimes we will offer them something for free. And yeah, I think letting clients know that you take their complaints very seriously and that you want the best for them usually helps a lot to
Because you're saying that because you care about getting it right for them, they believe that and they acknowledge that and they
yeah,
recognize.
exactly.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
still sounds like a bit of a balancing act.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very rare that things go wrong. Um, Sometimes unexpected things happen during a tour that the guide could not have anticipated, or the clients are really tired and jet lagged and not really in the right frame of mind to walk around with a guide. So sometimes they can be a bit irritable. But that's also how we select our guides. So they're trained quite heavily in how to manage clients, how to manage different expectations, how to take care of clients that are maybe a bit tired or a bit grumpy. So it's very rare that the guide doesn't really know what to do, or the client is so angry or so cranky that we cannot give them a enjoyable experience.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear it. That's obviously pretty important, it seems to me. So let me ask you about the journey that you've been on. I mean, when you go back to the beginning, when you started out, I mean, if you could start again,
Mhm.
what would you do differently if you were starting again?
Well, first of all, I would change the name of the company because it's called, my first company is called Tokyo Tours, because my only image was I'm going to be a guide in Tokyo and I'm going to show people around Tokyo, and that's it. That's going to be the whole company. I never envisioned anything beyond that. So then, after 3 months of starting my own business, I got an email from a girl and she asked me, can I work for you? And that was so mind blowing because I never even considered hiring people and making it bigger than just myself. So, yeah, if you have dreams, dream big and prepare for the future and don't let any limiting thoughts creep into your head because if you cannot envision it, it's not going to happen. So dream as big as you can, and then the rest is just a matter of operations, and it will follow
Hard
as long
work
as you're persistent.
and hard work.
Yeah, exactly. Just do the right things every day. Don't slack off. And if it doesn't work today, then tomorrow try something different.
Yeah. And why did you start the second company? Was it solely so you could automate everything? Is that why you created the second company?
Well, first of all, it was because I saw that the clients were struggling, and I felt that there should be another solution that could help them better than what's out there now. So that was the first driver. And then when I spoke to my web developer to create the website, he actually told me like, oh, okay, we can automate all these things and this is what we can do. And then came the idea like, yeah, let's try and do that. Let's try to use AI to the full extent and try to automate things as much as possible. And at the same time, I had a meeting with my heads of operations and I said, this is what I want to do for Elite. How do you feel about maybe applying that to Tokyo Tours as well? And that's when she was very reticent and was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. So that's when we decided, okay, let's only apply it to Elite for now, and then we can later use this for Tokyo Tours as well. And also, I'm starting elite travel experiences in Japan, but I also have a network in South Korea, Vietnam, and China.
Okay.
So that's how we can easily scale up. So the only limiting factor is my web developer who is not able to work as fast as I would like. But as soon as Japan is off the ground, the next phase would be to apply the same method to our network in Vietnam, South Korea, and China. And who knows where else?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I can see that. It's about how you replicate things, isn't it?
Yes.
And what would you, I mean, the business is very successful now. I know you've still got a bit of a way to go with Elite, but the Tokyo
Mhm.
business is very successful. And what would you attribute your success to?
Consistency. So every day assess what went well and what didn't go well. The things that went well, how can you apply that to other things? And the things that didn't go well, how can you prevent that from happening in the future? So it's kind of like the Kaizen method, where every day you try to be 1% better than the day before. So training our staff is very important. Getting the 5-star reviews is very important. Making sure we're nominated for industry awards, getting on podcasts and pushing our social media very hard. So to get the word out, what an amazing choice we offer. And if people do want to travel to Japan, they should come and see us first.
Sure. And of all the things that you've achieved, I mean, what are the things you're most proud of?
Mhm. Um, what I'm most proud of is, first of all, the fact that we have such a strong community with our guides. And I've even had guides leave and get another job, and then after 1 or 2 years asked if they could come back because they actually enjoyed working for me much better than for other companies. So to realize that you can offer this to your staff is just amazing. Um, Second of all, to have the 5.0 score on Google Maps, which is exceptional for any company, is amazing. And of course, to be recognized by industry leaders. This year alone, we've received 3 awards: the World Luxury Travel Awards, the APAC Award, and Travel and Hospitality Award. So yeah, it's nice that other people can see what we're doing and can um, understand what we have to offer compared to our competitors and give us that recognition.
I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of people that are saying you're doing a good job, which is always.
Exactly.
I mean, but let me ask about the flip side. I mean, now when I talk to entrepreneurs, they'll tell me we make mistakes all the time. The
Hmm.
thing is not make you can't help but make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The question is
Correct.
how you fix them, isn't it? Which were the mistakes that hurt the most when you look back over the years?
The mistakes that hurt the most. Mm, well, I wouldn't put it that strongly, mistakes that hurt the most, but like I said, I had some limiting beliefs. Like I never expected much from myself and from my company. So I just created a website and waited for the clients to come to me, as opposed to pushing the company and pushing my services out and try to establish collaborations with travel agents. So I could have done that a lot earlier and could have grown a lot faster if I had thought about it, because it never really crossed my mind. I thought, oh, I'm just doing this for fun and to get a bit of money. And I never took it that seriously in the first few years.
I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs that are going global talk to me about the importance of getting the partnerships right. I mean, it's
Mhm.
easier said than done, of course, but it's a really important part. If you've got good partners, you can really do exciting things, can't you? And I mean, has the experience of building the business, of being the CEO, because I know you've been doing it quite a long time now. I mean, has that changed you? Do you think you're a different person as a result of what you've learned?
Yes, for sure. I'm much more confident. I'm better at setting boundaries. I think that's probably one of the mistakes I would raise, is that quite early on, if you're working with people, you get an idea of what they're like and what their values are and what they think is important and what's not. And what I've learned is it's not about the money, it's about your peace of mind. So if anyone disturbs your peace of mind, then there's no money that can counterbalance that. So it's better to quickly pull the plug and just say, I'm very sorry, but I don't think this is a good fit for us, and I can give you some contacts of other people who will be more suited to handle your project, rather than to keep going and thinking, oh, things will be better, I just need to do this, I need to do that. So you need to acknowledge, like, what is the right client for me, what is working well, what doesn't work well, and only focus on those clients that can lift you to a higher level. If you already can see, okay, this is going to cause some problems in the future, then it's better just to pull out.
Sure. And what's the over the years you've been doing this, what's the best piece of advice you've been given?
The best piece of advice would be believe in your own dreams. Because when COVID hit, my business obviously went bankrupt. And I needed to find another job, like a 9 to 5 job. And everyone in my surroundings said, "Oh, you should just quit Tokyo tours. You shouldn't invest. You should divest. Take out all the money you have in the account. Just cancel web your website and your listing and everything because it's not going to come back anyway. You should just focus on working for someone else from now on." And I thought, no, I still believe in Tokyo tours. This COVID thing is going to go away at some point. I don't know how long it will take. So instead of divesting, I started investing. So I created a new website. I put in much more efforts into social media. I noticed that a lot of Facebook groups were quite reluctant to allow my posts about my business. So I thought, oh, I can just start my own groups and then no one can tell me what to do. So I have two Facebook groups that are centered around travel to Japan, one in Dutch because I'm originally Dutch, and the international one. And the Dutch one has close to 10,000 members, and the international one has close to 250,000 members. So, yeah, don't let other people tell you what to do or what you can or cannot do. Just believe in your dreams and try to dream as big as possible because if you don't think it's even an option, then you're never going to get there. So, try and make the impossible possible.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's great advice because it's all about what's in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
In those situations. Let me just ask a couple of questions before we wind up. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you look ahead from where you are,
Mm-hmm.
looking forward, I mean, what's the biggest challenge that you think is on the horizon? What's coming your way?
Well, the biggest challenge is that you can't rush the process. So I often get approached by people in the industry that want to collaborate with me, especially with Elite, and they have ideas for other countries beside Japan. But it's very important for me to say no, or at least no, not yet, because you need to do the whatever you do, you need to do it well. So you shouldn't make things bigger than they need to be. Just focus on your priorities. And the priority is to set up the company so it can handle travel to Japan. And once we do that well, then we can look at other destinations, and I already have my network, like I said, so that is going to be the main priority rather than trying to invent the wheel again and try to collaborate with partners that are maybe not tried and tested. So, yeah, that's very important. Know when to say no, know how to. Manage expectations, know how to use your energy because there's only a certain number of hours in the day. So you need to know what can I do with the time that I have? Where should I have my priorities? If you run around aimlessly, then in the end, nothing gets done. So it's very important to have that structure and to know what you're going to do throughout the day, are you going to speak, who's going to help you, and also to talk to people, like the people that are working for me. Like, okay, we set out to do these tasks today. Are they coming along? Are you running into any issues? What is the next step so we can reach all the goals we've set for this month?
Mm, So it's about staying focused, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Staying focused, yeah. And I know you're introducing AI into the way Elite works.
Mhm.
I mean, what's your take on how that? I mean, we're only a couple of years into the kind of AI revolution, for want of a better way of describing it. I mean, how do you think it's going to shake down? Not so much in your business. I know you're applying it in your business, but how do you think AI is going to reshape the travel sector in particular? I mean, what's your take on the way that things are going to change in the next year or two?
Well, I mean, driverless cars is going to be a thing. So things will just become easier and easier and more client-centered, I believe. Um, on the other hand, the personal touch and the human hand, so to speak, is still very important, especially in the travel industry where it's all about trust.
Mm.
Um, so I don't think you can 100% automate every experience because there's still that level of personal touch and personal attention that's necessary. But yeah, I think a lot of the repetitive tasks can easily be automated and can easily be done in a easier way without someone struggling to keep up.
I mean, I think whichever way it shakes down, it's going to be an interesting couple of years, would be my take on it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Nikki, thank you for taking a bit of time out to come and have a chat with us. I mean, it's a fantastic proposition. I mean, I've never been to Japan, but you've made me think that it might be quite a good place to go sometime. So, thank you for sharing that story and good luck with all the things that are happening next.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, Tokyo alone has 38 million people. It's the second largest city in the world. So definitely, if you come to Japan, make sure you have sufficient time to explore Tokyo as well, because there's just no place on earth that comes close.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Nikki, good to speak to you. I'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Bye
Thank
bye.
you for the opportunity. Bye bye.
Bye bye.